Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of cards that have essentially crashed down in price recently due to reprints and everything like that. Mostly it's huge staples that you can use in so many different decks, or cards that you might have looked at in the past and you kind of thought about it and like, I don't think I can kind of justify this, but God, now some of these are just so much cheaper that it is so much better. And that's what I love about Magic, is that, you know, seeing as they've started reprinting some of the stuff that is very stapley into commander decks and stuff, it's kind of got a lot more affordable in regards to some of these big, nice staples. Before we get into it though, I do want to ask you guys, you know, head on over to our Discord. We've got a poll up at the moment asking what kind of giveaway you guys would like, as well as make sure you do subscribe. We're on track to hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of August. I would love to hit 5,000 by the end of August if we can. So let me know if you guys, you know, have anything you want me to cover or anything as well. So starting off with some of the ones that were reprinted in Assassin's Creed, both Propaganda and Black Market Connection. Propaganda has been reprinted at a few different precons lately. It's down to like $1 now or something like that for the Assassin's Creed version, which is really, really great. Black Market Connections, I think, is around like the $8-ish mark or something. And honestly, that card is really amazing in so many different decks. It's going to be incredibly, incredibly useful in nearly every kind of black deck can make use of it, whether it's, you know, drawing cards, treasures, creating changelings. You know, there's a lot of kind of different things that you can use this card for in so many different ways, and it was reprinted in, obviously, you know, Assassin's Creed, and reprinted just before that in the LCI set in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, the commander set for that as well. So, you know, it's really nice to kind of see this kind of going down a bit, because it is such a great stapley card. We've got Cover of Darkness and Reconnaissance, two older cards that were reprinted as well within Assassin's Creed, that now, because they've got more recent reprints, while they aren't obviously the most necessarily powerful cards, they are very, very useful. Giving, you know, all of your creatures of a certain type fear is really great, making them all unblockable, whether, you know, you're going to be running it as assassins, or you want to make, you know, Legoif's fearless, or whatever you want to do. There's some great uses for that. And Reconnaissance is just a very, very kind of cheesy, great card for like just playing around combat. You can essentially give your cards vigilance, like you give your creatures vigilance with it, because you can use that right after you deal combat damage. They will get untapped, but they still deal that combat damage, kind of giving them vigilance, but more kind of advanced version of it, as well as using it to, like, you know, scout out if someone's going to block you, and kind of sends through. You can basically full send your whole squad, and there's no kind of issues with it, because you can just remove them from combat easily with Reconnaissance. We've also got Academy Manufacturer. I am really shocked at how much this has been reprinted lately. I believe this was reprinted, you know, in the BLC set, in the Squirrel deck, I believe it is, and then also reprinted in the ones just before the OTJ ones too. I think even it might have been reprinted in Cull of Mana, but this card is just so great in so many different token decks, whether you're making a clue deck, a food deck, or a treasure deck, or just tokens in general. And you can do so many great things with it. Having it kind of drop down in price because of so many reprints in these precons is really great. We've got Belladros and Bootlegger's Stash, both cards that are, you know, very interesting, very useful. Bootlegger's Stash essentially allowing you to, one, create treasures instead of just, you know, mana directly, but, you know, you can save your lands for in future turns. You can use them at the end of the person in front of yours turn, and then, you know, create a whole bunch of treasures, and then you untap straight away, and then you've got all your treasures plus your lands. You've got Belladros, which has so many different uses, whether you want chump blockers, whether you want to, you know, untap yourself, whether you're playing life gain, or just tokens, or, you know, if you want to make a pest-based deck, you can do so many things with him. Greater Good getting a reprint is just insanely great. greater good. It's a great reprint for the greater good. I don't know. There's a lot of different uses that you can do with it, whether it's, you know, sacking a creature that's about to die anyway, or just using it to fish for your win cons, or, you know, some great, like, you know, if you're running some kind of play from the graveyard Golgari deck, you could use that for that. There's just a lot of different uses for it, and because you can then discard the cards as well, you can draw cards, discard ones, and then you can play those ones from the graveyard as well, potentially. There's so many great uses for it. Haywire Might, while it is a, you know, not a super expensive card, seeing it reprinted, I think, is nice. There's a lot of different uses for it as well, whether, you know, you're running an artifact deck, or just in general, you know, a life gain deck, or insect deck, or, you know, just needs some kind of removal later on. Helm of the Host getting reprinted in the most recent Bloomburrow Commander deck. The Family... is it Family Matters? Yeah, Family Matters deck is really great. I'm actually surprised it wasn't reprinted in the Omo deck in Modern Horizons 3, but overall, you know, it's a very useful card for a lot of different kind of decks, whether you're focusing on equipment, whether you're focusing on clothing, whether you're focusing on whatever your commander is. You can make a lot of different uses for it. Rousing Refrain had spiked up a lot. It was, you know, I think it was around the time that the Doctor Who sets came out, because of the way that they were using like the time counters and stuff. It was an insanely great card, and then it spiked up a lot. Now it has dropped down because it got reprinted in OTC in Outlaw Junction Commander. So seeing that kind of drop down to, I think it's like $1-ish or something like that, is really good. There's a lot of different uses for it. If you can't afford a Jeska's Will, it's a great way to kind of have like a cheap-ish kind of Jeska's Will. Depending on your deck, it could even be more useful. I actually am surprised that this didn't go up more when the new Ovika was kind of going around. Everyone was kind of building that new Ovika, because of the fact that you get rid of the time counters during your upkeep. So if you've got additional upkeeps, then you can kind of loop this pretty quickly. So I'm surprised it didn't go up more because of that, but maybe just because it got reprinted in OTC, it dropped down enough that didn't matter too much. All right. Next, we've got Lauren of the Third Path and Luminous Brood Moth. Lots of different uses for both of them. Luminous, obviously, if you're playing like a Sacrifice Aristocrats kind of deck or something, there's a lot of use there. If you're just playing a normal reanimated deck, if you're going go wide, you know, go tall, you can do a lot of great things with it. Lauren, obviously, great for removal, as well as, you know, some kind of politicking with it as well. Maswood Nexus. This is probably the one that prompted me most. Actually, no, it's the one that prompted me the second most, I think, to make this video. Being able to have a Maswood Nexus now for a lot cheaper than previously in nearly every single kind of tribal / kindred deck is really, really useful, because sometimes you're going to be playing stuff that is off tribal. Like, say, for example, if you're playing a rat deck, right? Ogre Slumlord is really great in a rat deck, but he's not a rat. This makes him into a rat. My Legoif Dissa deck makes so much great use for this. Tendershoot Dryad, if you're playing tokens, if you're, you know, going wide, this is a great card for that. I'm going to be using it in my Balin deck. I think I just cut it from my Bellow deck, actually, because I didn't think it fitted enough in there. I guess if you combine it with the other, what is he, like the Mushroom Badger, then it's not as bad, but I just didn't like it in that deck. But there's a lot of uses for it in a lot of different decks as well. Veyan is actually probably the one that prompted me the most to make this. Like, when she got reprinted at OTC, that is a crazy great reprint. She goes incredibly well in any Spellslinger deck, right? Because of the fact that, you know, you're going to be not just spell slinging, but a lot of spell slinging decks will run anything that has, you know, copying as well, and, you know, triggered abilities based off of your actual spellcasts. You know, like the otters have a lot of stuff that's like, when you cast a spell, do this. When you cast a spell, or when you copy a spell, do this. This is just crazy great with that. Farewell has been reprinted in Modern Horizons 3 Commander, may have been OTC Commander, may have been, I'm 95% sure, MKM Commander, Doctor Who Commander for sure. You know, just, it's been reprinted in a fair few Commander sets lately, so it's really nice that it's kind of dropped down, and it's given us such a huge removal card that's so useful to be able to do a lot of different things. It's really nice to see it kind of become more affordable. Guardian Project, again, another really great card, has got a reprint recently, that's kind of made it drop down a lot. If you need card draw and you're playing not usually a token deck, but especially if you've got like a big like creature deck, this is a really nice kind of draw card for it, and you know, especially in like the Bellow deck, it goes really well in the Bellow deck. We've got Pitiless Plunderer here, been reprinted a few times, got special guests and stuff like that. There's never not a great use for this card, whether you're playing pirates, aristocrats, just, you know, generic tokeny decks, because it's the fact that it's like, you know, just another creature. Even if you're playing like a removal deck, like you're playing a control deck that includes black in it, you're removing enemy creatures and stuff. This is great. We've got Pan Harmonicon. Okay, like I said before that the Veyan was the one that prompted this. It was more this one, because I've had this conversation with my friend Jack John Jackson so many times. When I show him I'm going to put Pan Harmonicon into a deck, he's like, dude, that's such an expensive card. I'm like, no, it has dropped so much now, especially once, you know, the Fallout set came out. I think it's like a $5 card now. It's kind of, it had crept up quite a bit before that, and now it's kind of gone down a bit. It is a incredibly useful card for so many decks. I got a copy recently for my Family Matters found family, what's his name, Zinnia, my Zinnia deck, because of the fact that it means that all the offsprings will trigger twice. It's just an incredible card. Branching Evolution, doubling everything, doubling all tokens, counters is really great. Doubling all counters is really great. Got reprinted in LCC and reprinted in Modern Horizons 3. I think there was somewhere else in between there as well. A really kind of great card. No, I think it got reprinted as well in Bloomburrow. We've got Champion's Helm, reprinted a whole bunch lately. Really great, especially if you've got like, you know, a Voltron theme, or just a creature that you want to keep protected. And the fact that it's only equip 1, not that you can really see that, is really good. Mystic Forge, again, reprinted a whole bunch. If you're playing a artifact deck, or even a colorless deck, like if you're playing freaking Eldrazi, this is really great too. Urz's Incubator got a reprint, Modern Horizons 3. It is a lot cheaper. Again, similar to before, if you're playing a tribal/kindred deck, if it's dinosaurs, dragons, squirrels, freaking birds, whatever, this is a great card for it. It just flat reduces the cost by 2, right? So there's so many great uses for this. And then if you add on top of it, you've got Maswood Nexus there, turning everything into, like, you know, whatever creature type you chose here. Insane. Buried Alive down to like $1 or something like that, if not cheaper. And, you know, if you're playing any kind of graveyard deck, Buried Alive is just a great card for it. It's in my Legoif deck. It is crazy because I can just search up 3 different Goifs, chuck them into the graveyard, and then this is like, hey, you just put some Goifs in there, let me bring them back for you. Really great. The other thing here is lands. Now, I listed out 25 there. These are just lands. so I'm not including them, but all the pain lands and check lands have dropped a lot. The Modern Horizons 3 fetches have dropped a lot as well, just purely because they've been reprinted in Modern Horizons 3, but the other ones are getting reprinted in so many precons. They've actually been doing an amazing job of making the precon mana bases not be awful. So it's really good to kind of see these things that were formerly kind of like pain lands. When we started kind of getting harder into playing Magic, pain lands were like, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to fork out that much for like a pain land. And then, they reprinted them in a commander set, and then reprinted. So now it's to the point that, every kind of commander set comes with them. It's really, really good to see. All right, now these is the bonus one here. Just some big kind of rats that kind of got reprinted. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.